And just like that, we are back at the top of another Savage stream. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate it. There was a couple of projects that I follow that came out with somewhat of some news today, so I figured I would cover, not today, but recently. And I figured I would cover what they're talking about, so let's get after it. The first one is Conceal. Conceal came out with their, I think every month they come out with a basically an update, you know, like a developer update kind of thing. I think they call it this month. Yeah, this month in Conceal. And it was for last month, of course, June of 2020. And let's just go over, I don't have like real good notes or anything. I just kind of threw this together pretty quick. So I'm probably going to do a little bit of reading. I did highlight some things that I wanted to talk about. So and then we're also going to update a wallet because I have yet to update the Conceal wallet to 6.2. So we're going to do that as well. And we will just rock on like that. Sounds good to me. Hopefully it sounds good to y'all. All right, so anyway, the last month for Conceal, they did celebrate their second year anniversary with me. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it. That was on May 23rd. We did basically like an Ask Me Anything or AMA. It wasn't really an AMA. I mean, there were some questions from the viewers, but most of it was just me asking them questions about the project and stuff, and me asking questions that I would consider or that I was thinking that you guys might ask, right? So that's basically what it was about. Turned out pretty good. I think we did pretty well for the first time I've ever had on like a guest, right? And it was their first American or English Ask Me Anything too. So I thought that was pretty cool. Let me fix my camera real quick here. I just noticed I'm all looking kind of goofy there. That'll probably be a little bit better. Okay, so yeah, so it was a good time. It was about 2 hours long. The video does have timestamps though, so you can just kind of jump to the part where you want to jump to. So it works out pretty well. They also have DG Altman. He's from the Daily Chain. He did an article on them as well. You know, they talked about his spirited writing, creativity was cool. You know, to you know, highlight Conceal in that way. So I thought that was pretty cool as well. And then they also have a new and improved Discord bot that was introduced for the community. It basically does tipping and different rains, like you can rain CCX on people that have been there a certain amount of time. And I guess it does some giveaway stuff. I need to get in there and play around with it a little bit more. I did do the tipping and the rains before, but I haven't really done anything with the giveaways. But you get in there to their Discord and you type in .help and it into the bot, and it'll give you a list of the available commands and stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool as well. It seems very active because every time I go to their Discord, you know how you get notifications of whether or not you've been mentioned or you know, someone has tipped you. In other words, you know, or just anything. It's always highlighted for tipping. You know, and that part of their Discord is always highlighted. So there's a lot of action in there, it seems like. So it's kind of neat. They also introduced the brand new community pool. So they did away with the official pool and turned it over to the community basically so that they could focus on other things. So now this is ran by the community the way I understand it. It is a PPLNS and they have solo mining options as well. And it's a good looking pool. It looks like this. You know, it's I'm not a developer, so I know that this has a name, like the interface here, because it's pretty standard. You know, you got your getting started and dashboard, and you can come over here and plug in your you know, your mining address. I would imagine, let's see, if you come down to, where did I see that at? Let's see. Oh, Node.js. That's what I was kind of thinking about. Where is the... Yeah, here we go. Okay, so I overlooked this. So you just plug in your address here that you're mining to and get all the stats for that particular miner and how it's doing. But if you wanted to use the community pool, you just click on Get Started and pretty much everything is here. I've done a video or two on it, so check those out as well if you want to mine CCX on their community pool. So good job there. That was kind of neat to see them do that. They also have INSTASWAP integration inside of their website now. So you got a little buy CCX thing here. You click on that and it takes you over to, it's actually integrated. So it's swap.conceal.network, but this is actually working with INSTASWAP, right? So it's integrated inside of the website, which is kind of neat. I like that idea. It seems like they need to either reference additional exchanges or something, because there is a kind of a disparity between value, like USD value, and what you would be spending, right? Like let's say we switch this over to US dollar and it's going to say 400, you know, you get 401 CCX. Well, if you bought them off of, if you just, you know, before the fees, you should get more than 500, right? Because it's less than 10 cents right now. So you should get more than 500. Now, I know that there's some fees in there, but it just seems like there might be a little bit of disparity here between actual value and what this is actually looking at to get the value from. I think that maybe they just need to add some exchanges. I don't know what the back end of this looks like, but that's what it seems like needs to happen. Because it's just a little bit, it seems a little bit off, right, as far as the comparison of the value and stuff. All right, so that is their INSTASWAP integration. You know, you see that on their website. Developer update, let's see here. This is where we get to the wallet. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. You can see that they have updated to 6.2. They mentioned that over here. And you can see that I have not done that yet. So I figured we would go ahead and do that. I'm gonna open up my wallet location here real quick. And now normally what you would do is, you know, you should back up your wallets and your address books. That would be the best way to go about this. I'm going to come down here. I'm just holding down Control and I'm selecting all the address books and wallets. So I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to click copy, go over here to backups. Let's do a new date. Now you should back up off of your computer. Don't put it on the same computer. I'm just doing this for the sake of expediency here. So we're going to go like that. So now we got a copy of all of our wallets and our address books. Don't know if you need the address books or not, but I think it's handy. And what we're going to be updating is CONCEAL-GUI, GUI. And you can see the date right here is 4/17 was the last time it was updated. And that is this version, 6.16. You can see that right here. So I'm going to close this. And what we would do is you would go to CONCEAL.network. I think there's a link right here. So I'm just going to open that link. And this takes you to the GitHub for Conceal. And you need to go through all your validation, make sure that your connection is secure. Make sure you're looking at the right data, the right repository and all that. And let's see here. I think they've changed some stuff around here. Let me go to, that just takes you right here. I don't know if it's down here or not. An easy way to grab it. It's probably in here somewhere. But if you go to their website here, let's go over here to conceal.network. Again, checking to make sure everything's good with the certificate and all that. We're gonna go to desktop, wallet, Windows GUI, and then this is what I was looking for. I need to figure out how to get there from that other link. But anyway, so here's Conceal Desktop. So we're going to grab the Windows version, 6.2.0. Copy that to downloads. I don't think I got this yet. And then real quick, if we wanted to validate that software to make sure that it wasn't changed, you can get the SHA-256 hash right here. And you can compare it to what you would get on the file if you ran the utility to check the file hash. So I'm gonna go to PowerShell. Just go in here and type in PowerShell, enter. It opens up in that location. We're going to type in get file hash. I think that's right. And then we're going to click and drag the zip file over here. I showed you this last week on a couple of streams, I believe, where where I actually changed the data in the zip and showed you that it changes this number significantly. It's not like just one digit changes. So this is what it says it should be. So I'm going to double click on that. Control C to copy it. We'll come over here. Let's do a new text document real quick, so I can paste it in here. All right, and then we want to compare that result to what the website says we should have, which is this right here. And I did not check this before, so hopefully it works. Hopefully it's the same. All right, yeah, it's the same. All right, so occasionally you'll see where a developer forgets to update this part. I've seen that before. And then you're left wondering like, okay, so has this been tampered with? Or did they just forget to update this? So then normally you can fire off a support ticket or whatever to the team and say, hey, looks like maybe, something's wrong here, and let them know. But yeah, Conceal is usually, CCX team is usually on top of stuff. So the files do match, so that's good. Let's go ahead and cancel that, get out of here, don't save that, okay. And we are going to, I think all we have to do is extract. I believe that this is like an install. So we're gonna extract that. Yeah, set up. So we're gonna run that as an administrator. Come up with the smart screen as usual. Good to go. So it's gonna look at how it's currently installed and try to mimic that. You can see right here, this is the location of my wallets on my hard drive here, on my second hard drive. So that is the right location. I just know by memory, right? I'm just looking at it. And then we're gonna go in here like that. Okay, so now if we go back to our wallet location, you can see the date has now changed to 6/26. Remember before it was 4 something, right? 4/22 or something. So now I'm pretty confident that this file, and there's probably some other ones in here that are updated, but this one's the most important in this case because this is the one that we wanted to update. So we're going to go ahead and launch that. Oh, nice little splash screen. And it actually opens on the screen that it's launching from. Before, it always bothered me that I was trying to show you guys, launching the wallet, and it would always start on my left monitor, which is not the monitor that I'm sending out, right? It's not the one that I'm streaming from. So it was always kind of like frustrating. Like I had to wait on the wallet to launch and then pull it over there. But yeah, this is cool that it actually launched on the wallet, on the display that it looks like it's on. So wherever you launch it from is where it's going to actually display first. So that's cool. It's doing a little bit of rebuilding here. I'll check the chat while we're waiting on that. What is up, everybody? What's up, Unknown Crypto, Crypto Mining Lifer, Hash Raptor? What is up? Chancoin, Jonas P, Bitcoin Jake. What's up, man? Thanks for tuning in, guys. All right, so it did open on my left screen, but that's okay. All right, so it looks like the wallet is updated. It is synced, synchronizing 100%. I don't know if maybe they changed that because I think it used to say synchronized right here. Maybe they changed that. I don't know. I'm not going to go through all the updates for this. Yeah, there it goes right there. Boom. So I'm not going to go through all the updates for the wallet. It's probably not anything too significant. It's probably background stuff from what I read so far. But you can see right here that it is 620 now. So we're fully up to date. So that's awesome. Let me get out of here. Here's all the updates that actually occurred. So with the wallet, most of it looks like I said, it seems like functionality and maybe some just improvements, not necessarily anything too much with the interface or anything like that. So it looks the same. But maybe if I find out that there's something really significantly different in here, I'll do a video on that as well. Another thing that they have in their update is the CONCEAL-GUARDIAN release. CONCEAL-GUARDIAN is basically just a small utility that monitors the daemon and makes sure that if there's any errors from the daemon that it figures it out and either relaunches it or notifies you in some way that something has occurred with your daemon. And this is particularly useful if you're running a node all the time, right? So it's not most folks, especially like me. I mean, I don't run a full node all the time for Conceal. I basically just have the wallet, and maybe I should look at doing that. Maybe on a, I don't know if you can do it on a Raspberry Pi or not. Maybe I could look into that as well. But yeah, some fixes with that. Here's some fixes or some updates that they did with the CONCEAL-GUARDIAN. I need to play around with it a little bit more. I haven't done a whole lot. I think I tried it whenever they first released it, and I don't know if I got distracted or what, but I didn't really look that far into it, so I probably need to give it another look. All right, so some other updates that they have is Conceal, Mobile, and Cloud. This is huge because this is something that the community has asked for a really long time, getting deposits and messaging on the cloud. So they have a cloud wallet. They also have a PWA, Progressive Web App, I think is, I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, so they have a wallet, that is your mobile wallet. It's the same as your cloud wallet. And they also have the app, Progressive Web App, I think is what it's called. And you can access it through the web or that app or your mobile. It's all the same wallet. All right, it can be the same wallet. And what has been asked is for these wallets to also include deposits, which right now you can only do that in the desktop wallet. So if you go to banking, I've done videos on this, on how to stake and all that stuff, cold staking, and how to compound interest and all that. I've done quite a few content, several on that. Here's like an example of their compound interest calculator and how it works. So if you want to see, just look, I've got a playlist. It's called most likely ConcealNetwork maybe, but it's probably just Conceal CCX. And it'll have content in there about the deposits feature. So that's coming. They're working on that. That's supposed to be Q3 2020. And then also what is going on is they have Conceal Labs. And Conceal Labs is like this community, a way to earn CCX by donating something to the community. And in this case, what they're talking about here is Throne Lemon, one of the community members, is actually creating a Electron wallet for Conceal. It's going to be a Conceal Lite wallet based on Electron. It's going to be super slick. I think it's a great idea. I think this is what it looks like right here so far. Just a little screenshot. So I like the Lite wallets. I know Rio and Swap, both of them have a Lite wallet as well. Love them. I think there's several other projects that use that. And but this one looks pretty slick. I like it. Looking forward to this actually being released. And then the last but definitely not least is they have what they are calling CLive or Conceal Live. And this is going to be huge. This is supposed to be by Q4 2020, which means, December 31st of this year. Hopefully by then, CLive will be live and it will be available. But basically, it is a end-to-end encrypted peer-to-peer messaging system, whether it's video, voice, text, and it's also autonomous. I always say that word wrong. Autonomous, where you can actually connect to someone that's on the same network without actually going out to the internet. So if you're in the same building on the same Wi-Fi, for example, you could communicate anonymously with that other person without actually either one of your devices going out to the internet. So that is very cool. And it's encrypted. It's one of those encrypted messaging. I think that they're taking it a step further because it's going to be video and text and audio, right? So basically, the way that they're promoting this is saying, if you value your privacy, and not like there's other platforms out there like Zoom and some others that have had not the greatest history or not the greatest experience so far, you know, with privacy concerns and stuff like that. This is Conceal, which is all about privacy. So for them to have their own messaging system, video, and all that, and for what I understand, it is really slick and fast and good quality and all that, because I brought that up whenever I first initially heard about it. I was like, man, it's not going to be that good if it's grainy and not, you know, not really high quality. But according to what I'm hearing, it is really slick and really high quality. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think that that's going to be a huge addition to the project. So looking forward to that a lot. All right, let's see here. Kind of behind a little bit here. They are recruiting. So if you know C++ or Qt, check them out. And if you wanted to donate your time and create something, you know, you could use the Conceal Labs for that, as far as you know, getting with them, and if they need something created, then you can go through there. Or if you come up with something that you want to create, maybe you can earn some CCX that way. But this is actually for the team. This is not necessarily for Conceal Labs. So that's a real quick update on what is going on with Conceal. Next up was Raven. Let me get there. This was an article by LITHY about Conceal. I think I might have mentioned that earlier. All right, so we all know, pretty much everybody in here knows, that Raven experienced an exploit or a vulnerability was discovered, and it was discovered by the Cryptoscope team, and they have basically a explorer, and it's Raven. Let's see, is this right? Oh, not that. It looks like, I don't have a picture of just the, let me get to it here. If I can type, it looks like this. So they have an Explorer, RAVENCOIN Explorer. I'm sure that they do other things, but this is one of the things that they have. And it was discovered by that team. They brought it to the attention of the RAVENCOIN team, and basically it comes down to, it was a community code submission that caused a bug that has been exploited. And you know, this is Tron's article back on, this is Tron Black, one of the lead dev for RAVENCOIN, and this was back on July 2nd, and this was his first mention of it, right? But so this doesn't have all the details in it. There's a little bit more that we can talk about as far as details goes, but he's just kind of reassuring everybody that, like, look, there's been a vulnerability that's been exploited. It's definitely a vulnerability that's been identified. You know, we want you to update your nodes, your wallets, exchanges, all that stuff. You know, the normal gambit whenever you have a vulnerability found. And they quickly fixed it. They quickly patched it and released new binaries for the wallets and all that stuff. Basically, it came down to 44 extra days worth of mining, because it was basically a slow, the way I understand it, it was a slow, almost like a mining rewards submission to the blockchain in huge amounts that was being accepted as valid rewards, basically, like mining rewards is the way I understand it. And basically it came down to 44 extra days, 300 and something million. We'll get to that in just a second. So that's Tron's. And then, so here's the latest. This is from Cryptoscope, and this was today. And just want to read some of the stuff here. This is from Cryptoscope. Last month I found a bug in Solus Explorer, and while fixing it, I had to modify, I'm quoting this, modify the database structure and completely resync the Explorer. And that process identified, he said, after a few minutes, I've noted that, I think he meant to say I've noticed that there are suspected transactions with unbalanced VOUTs, V-O-U-T, which means, let me see here. I wrote this down because I'm not a programmer. Oh, vector output. About is basically an index number for an output in a transaction that's used as an input for a new transaction. So that's what he discovered, that it was not balanced. Even though they were properly marked by the Explorer. So he said what he found was suspicious. A reissue out asset val in the transaction had not only asset amount but also Raven value, which was unexpected. So it had to do with reissuing assets. It was like a vulnerability in that specific part of the code, and it allowed additional creation of Raven, it looks like. And let's see, it says here, he looked at a group of transactions which are grouped into the virtual illegal supply address. I found that there is a pattern for the suspected transactions. There was one transaction injecting 500,000 Raven approximately every 2 hours. The first transaction using this exploit was this one right here. I believe this was the first one. Yeah, block 1224614. And you can see here 500,000 Raven. Illegal supply. So this is what his Explorer was then telling him, which was cool because this is kind of like what alerted the team to look into this, because it just didn't make sense. So I thought that was pretty neat, and it came down to some maintenance that they were doing on the Solus Explorer, right? And that's kind of what allowed them to notice the vulnerability. So they contacted TRON and all that. As we expected, we have not been able to reproduce without making intentional changes to the wallet. So at that moment, they were sure that it was not an accidental finding of an exploit, but intentionally planned activity. So it wasn't something that was just in the wallet that they didn't see before, or they didn't recognize. They couldn't reproduce it. So they knew that it was being done intentionally. So they did some cleanup work, working with the devs and all that. And you can see that the new protocol was enforced at block 1304352. That was on July 4th. But unfortunately, right before that, another 4.8 million Raven were injected to the network using that same exploit. So the total came out to just over 300 million, it looks like. And here's some addresses that are associated with the exploit as far as receiving the exploited Raven, or the additional inflation Raven. And then TRON actually, I don't know if he did it in a post or if he just did it on Twitter. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he was basically saying, in order for you to sleep well at night for the rest of your life, you might as well do the right thing and burn this Raven that you've stolen, right? Basically is what he was saying. But surprisingly, some of it was burned. It looks like they did burn almost 4 million. Now that's 4 million out of 300 million, but at least it's something, right? So I don't know what that means, whether they're just like, okay, here, be happy with this. I don't know if that's what they're trying to do, but anyway, so they finish off here by saying thanks to TRON and Blonde Frogs and Phoenix Monkey for their prompt reaction. So good job, team, as far as Raven goes. And I think that there was a huge amount of the community that actually updated their wallets and everything really quick. So I know I did a video on it right here 3 days ago. So that was July 3rd. I think I did it right away. Basically the day that I saw that. So it might have been the 2nd. I don't remember, but I never remember the days. You guys know how I am. Anyway, so pretty much right away I did that video, and the next day it was fixed and everything was good. So that was good to see from the team. But yeah, a lot of people were doing the updates to the wallets, and I guess I don't know about all the pools and exchanges. I don't know if all of them are back up yet. I don't really trade Raven. I'm more of a holder, so I don't know the status of like Binance or any of the exchanges that Raven is on, or the pools, because right now I'm not really mining Raven either, so I haven't really paid that much attention to it. Hey, what's up, Nemesis? Crypto Mikkel, what's up? So that pretty much brings us up to speed with Raven and what is going on with them. So that leaves Beam. So Beam came out with today. They came out with actually no, this was last week. Their week 27 Beam update, and I really wanted to talk about this because I'm kind of getting back into Beam. I was into Beam early on, and then I don't know why, but I just kind of distanced myself for whatever reason, just accidentally or just I don't know. You know how it happens. You know how things are whenever you're trying to. I know what happened to me. Like I was trying to follow too many projects, right? And it was just like. What's the terminology? I know there's some terminology for it. It was just overwhelming amount of data, right? And I think that Beam just kind of fell. I don't know if maybe they were doing something that maybe because they were developing, there wasn't a lot of data coming out about them, and maybe they just kind of fell off the back of my plate. Maybe that's what happened. But now that they're getting closer to all these really cool features that they're implementing, I kind of picked them back up, and now I wanted to kind of stay on top of them again and try to figure out what they're doing, and probably do some content on them as well. Jay Bohannon, I think that Zelcore is good. I don't know for sure. Crypto Mikhail might be able to answer that a little bit better. Crypto Mikhail, no, the chat is not out yet. That ConcealID, CLive is not technically on the roadmap until Q4 of this year. So, I mean, they're working on it, but it's not supposed to be released until December of this year at the latest. I mean, December 31st at the latest, supposedly. It's a huge undertaking. I mean, a huge development. So we'll see. Hopefully they'll get it done. Yeah, Bitcoin Jake, I will talk about that at some point. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Let's talk about it a little bit. All right, so let's look at Beam a little bit here. Something really cool that they have, and I didn't even know, I'll be honest with you, I did not even know that they were ever considering anything even remotely like confidential assets. And there are other projects that are working on similar things. One of them might even be CCX, or Conceal. But as far as confidential assets, you know, we just got done talking about RAVENCOIN. RAVENCOIN was kind of like the first project that made it super easy for creating assets on a blockchain. That's basically what this is, but this is private assets. So you're able to hide, right? It's a privacy coin. Beam is a strong privacy coin. RAVENCOIN is not. RAVENCOIN, everything's open. You know, you can see all the transactions and everything. So there's no privacy at all, basically, on RAVENCOIN. But this is kind of unique because I think it's the first privacy asset on a blockchain, I think. And this is really cool. This is cool. I was happy to start seeing this, as this is like really neat, you know. So let's look into it a little bit here. They talked about confidential assets. I've done a couple of videos recently on Beam over here where I believe I did probably mention confidential assets. Maybe on this video right here, the Beam hard fork, maybe. But I know I did mention it a couple times. I don't think I really went into it. Actually, if I remember correctly, I had said that I needed to look into it further. I think that was probably the last thing I said, which I haven't done a whole lot of looking into it just yet. But, you know, I've been busy with other things. But basically, the recent fork brought with it some incredible upgrades to Beam. That was, you know, a couple weeks ago whenever they forked on block 777777. That will see us leading the way in confidential DeFi, decentralized finance. And one such upgrade was the activation of confidential assets. Now, it says an essential building block. CAs are independent tokens on the Beam network, benefiting from the same privacy and usability as we have with Beam. Despite being currently limited to use with the command line interface wallet, they are working on integration in the GUI. So right now, if you wanted to create one, you would actually have to go out, you know, to the command line interface wallet, which is probably why I need to look into it a little bit further with creating them. But it's going to eventually be inside of this wallet, you know, the regular desktop wallet, and you are going to be able to connect, the way I understand it, you'll be able to connect the confidential assets to other, you know, to Beam or Bitcoin wallets and swap between them. Okay, basically like trading inside the wallet through atomic swaps, and I think that that's pretty slick. I mean, that's a good feature, I guess, but I don't know how far it will go, but that is really neat. So what is CA offers some incredible use cases, confidential synthetics such as commodities like gold, stable coins, digital assets such as shares, stocks, and bonds, confidential wrapped assets like BTC and ETH. Kind of just talked about that. You could create your own wrapped crypto, right, or you know, asset, and trade it within this platform. So I think that that's pretty neat. It's very similar to RAVENCOIN, very similar, but you've got that added privacy feature, which I think is important. And then community coins and tokens. So if you want to actually create one, you can get in touch with them. There's a walkthrough here by Rascal. If that's not it, this is it right here. Creating a confidential asset on Beam. He walks through this on testnet, which is kind of cool, because here's the drawback to creating a confidential asset on Beam compared to RAVENCOIN right now. The difference is cost, like USD value cost. Because on RAVENCOIN, you can create the asset for 500 Raven, I believe, if I remember right, which is only about $10 right now, right? Or less than $10. Well, on the Beam network, on the Beam blockchain, the confidential assets are 3,000 Beam. And that is $1,500 roughly right now, somewhere around in there. $1,500 USD. So it's a huge amount. So you really want to go over to, if you don't want to create one without going to testnet first and actually doing it, right? Because that's the last thing you want to do. People did that on RAVENCOIN, and people were, you know, like messing stuff up, like misspelling words and stuff, and just, you know, I mean, they probably had a lot more Raven than me, and it probably didn't bother them that bad. But whenever assets were first launched on RAVENCOIN, I saw that a lot. Like, what are these people doing? But anyway, so yeah, it's 3,000. Now, the way it works is it's actually locked up. You're not really paying for it unless you, if, like, let's say you create an asset, you create a confidential asset, and then you distribute the tokens or the coins from that asset to other people, then you can no longer, the way I understand it, you can no longer get that 3,000 Beam back. It's gone at that point, because in order for you to get it back, you have to burn the asset. And in order to burn the asset, you have to have control of all the tokens. If I'm understanding correctly, I think that is right. So in other words, like if you are trading, you couldn't get rid of it. You couldn't burn it and retrieve that 3,000 Beam. I might have said Raven earlier. You couldn't get back that 3,000 Beam because of that. Because you don't own all of them. So it kind of makes sense if you think about it. And Raven doesn't have that capability of retrieving the lock, because it's not locked. Whenever you create an asset on the RAVENCOIN network, you're actually burning the Raven right then. And in this case, it looks like you're not doing that. It's actually locked, which is kind of cool, you know. But yeah, this is a cool feature. I definitely need to get in there a little bit more and play around with it and see what it's all about. It's command line stuff, so you know, I don't know if you guys would be interested in watching that happen, but it is something that interests me. I'm all about assets on the blockchain, so yeah, cool stuff. Pretty long guide. You know, he walks through the whole thing. I'll put all these links and everything in the description of the video so that we don't lose it. And here's like a testnet downloads for Beam. I'll put that link over there as well if you want to play around with that. And all these links to GitHub as well, talking about the asset IDs, or the assets. It's a lot of data. It's a lot of stuff. But right now, a command line. Now, obviously, for it to really take off, they're going to have to integrate it inside of the wallet, the regular desktop wallet, because not too many people are going to get over there in the command line wallet and do this type of thing. So, looking forward to them getting that integrated into this wallet. So, all right, let me see the chat, see what you guys are up to. And that's going to do it for me. I got to get out of here. Yeah, Bitcoin Jake, hit me up about Devault. You mentioned it a couple times. I probably should look at it. I trust you. All right, I am going to probably fire up Poker Stars if you guys want to play a little bit. And before I go, let me just talk about the tournament real quick, because I can't expect other people to promote it and me not promote it, myself. So our next event that we are doing for charity in the crypto community here is the CryptoTubers charity poker tournament. There's going to be, I think, some pretty big names in the crypto community that's going to end up being in this thing. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully all that stuff pans out and they actually show up. And there's still some surprises in there too. So hopefully this works out. This week I'm going to get with the guys, Crypto Mikhail and the other organizers of this thing, and figure out what we're going to do, if we're going to be able to do like some actual prizes for the winners. It won't come from the donations. The way that this works, just to give you a real brief overview, is you can register for the tournament and play. It's online. It's Poker Stars. We're not going to a casino and actually playing. So it's online Poker Stars. So you download that software. All this information is in this little guide here. But you go and download the software, install it, get it up and running, get your account created and verified and all that stuff. And then once you're in there, there's no real validation. I think it's more just an email and validating the email. I think that's all it is. But whenever you create, if you don't already have a PokerStars account, whenever you create your account, I would encourage you to make it something that we would recognize you by, because this is open to everybody, subscribers, Twitter followers, whoever, But the way that it works is we kind of expect you to do a donation of like $5 to $10, somewhere around in there. The addresses are in this little guide here. The guide is in the description of this video already. And it's got the times, the dates, what you have to do, how the tournament is set up, and all that stuff. It's all in here. It's maybe about a 1 minute read. So it's not too much information, but everything is in here that you need. And so you do the donation, and then you have to register for the tournament. Once you're registered, then it's going to start on July 11th at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And you can see the different times here. I had to fix them. They were backwards. I had it going in the other direction originally. So yeah, and this is play money. We just want you to do a donation, to be fair, so that because the winners, depending on how many people are entered, you can see here, like, let's say there's 22 people, then there's going to be 4 places paid, a percentage of the pot, right? And the way it works is it's $20,000 to buy in initially, and then there's 2 rebuys for the first 30 minutes, okay? And some people don't like rebuy tournaments, but hear me out, because this is free anyway. But, let's say that you register, you donate $10, you register, and then you're out in the first hand. You get some crazy bad beat or something like that, right? Okay, well, now you feel kind of like you got ripped off because you donated $10 and you only got 1 hand, right? So I think that it works out better to have rebuys for the first 30 minutes. People can kind of play kind of crazy, and do whatever they want, knowing that they can rebuy as long as they have enough play chips. And that's another important thing, because I think that if you've got a brand new PokerStars account, I believe you only start with I think, was it 20,000? 20,000 might be the starting. It might be 50, but I don't remember. But you're gonna need about 54,000, right? Because you got 20 and then 2 rebuys, so that's 50. You need about 54,000 to cover 2 rebuys and the initial buy-in, right? Because the initial buy-in is 20. It's 17,000 each rebuy, and you only get 2 of them. So if you have 54,000 at the beginning of the tournament, you should be good, right, to cover all that. If you don't have that, let some of the people that are already registered know, and maybe we can lose it to you on a heads up table or something like that. Lose you enough to get you in there. I don't mind. I think I've got like 500,000 or something. So I've got a little bit to spare. I could support a couple of people in there, to get them enough play chips to actually play with. But I think it's going to be tons of fun. I mean, think about it. You're going to be able to play against, me and Crypto Mikhail and maybe Bitcoin Check. I don't know if he plays poker or not, but I just looked over there. But Unknown Crypto for sure. Crypto Mining Lifer, I think he's going to be there. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of fun. It will probably last, depending on the number of players. I don't really see it lasting longer than 2 hours, because it is a turbo format, so it's only 5-minute levels, so it's going to go pretty fast. I mean, put it this way, that first 30 minutes, there's going to be 6 levels. By the end of that, I think the blinds are going to be 100, 200 at the end of the 6th, or at the beginning of the 6th level, and then 20 minutes after that, we'll go on a 5-minute break. I think it'll probably be 2 hours, depending on the number of players. So, 2 hours all the way through to determine the winner. So it's going to be, I don't know. I think it's going to be neat, and it's a cool way of raising money for charity. So, but all the instructions and everything are in this document. Just register. You might have to wait depending on, time zones, right? Because I'm not always sitting over here waiting on people to register. But I do have it open if I'm home, and if I see someone register, I'll approve them. But I need to, don't think that just because I don't instantly approve you that I didn't, right? I'll see you come up in here and be like, oh, okay, so here's all the people that are registered so far. So this is actually registered for the room. These are not in the tournament. So the tournament, it only has 8 people enrolled so far. Okay, so just these people right here so far. But you can see, Red Panda Mining's in here, Serpent's in here, Yashnik, can't wait to take him out. So it should be fun. I think it'll be a good time. We can, hang out on a Saturday afternoon, throw back some drinks maybe, and play a little bit of cards. I think it'll be neat. But here's the addresses that you send the donation to. And again, it's 100% donation. There's no fee or anything like that weird. This is all going to whatever charity the winners choose. So if there's 4 winners, for example, if there's 4 places paid, depending on the number of players, then their percentage of the total donations will go to their picked charity. Some people aren't picking a charity. They're just saying, whoever, but my charity is always the Water Project, because they take crypto, so it makes it pretty easy for things like this. Plus, it's a good charity. All right, so yeah, real quick, just wanted to cover that. Man, it's been 50 minutes again. I gotta start getting these streams down, really. I need to shorten them up a lot. I talk too much. All right, guys, I will see you guys tomorrow night. I have no idea what we'll go over. I'll be in here waiting on y'all to play some poker if you want. So if you're new and you haven't done it yet, you can follow the guide over there in the description. And if I see you come in there, I'll approve you, and then you can play some play money poker tonight with us. I'll be in there. I don't know if anybody else is going to be in there or not. but it looks like maybe Unknown Crypto might. So yeah, it'll be cool. We usually play for 30 minutes or an hour or something, and I'm over it by then. So, all right, guys, I will see you guys tomorrow night. Stay savage, everybody.